Hello, everybody out there. Okay, friends, we'll go ahead and start by reciting the Namo Tassa and the three refuges for those who like to join that. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Can people out there hear me? Give it in the, okay. I saw a message from Dragon Yogi that it had no sound, but maybe that's on his side. Okay, friends, so welcome to this evening's Dhamma discussion and meditation practice. So we have been going over the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, the great discourse on the development of mindfulness. And we're now at near the very end of that sutta. We've started this over about 6 weeks ago, or even around Christmas time. So for those who were here with us last week, we started the last contemplation of the last section of this Mahasatipatthana Sutta, which is the contemplation of the Dhamma. And this last section was the contemplation of the Four Noble Truths. And now we are reached that last of the Four Noble Truths, the Noble Eightfold Path. And last week we started by covering the first two sections of the Noble Eightfold Path, that is right understanding and right thought. Right understanding and right thought comprise the umbrella group of wisdom. The 8 steps of the Noble Eightfold Path are divided into 3 umbrella groups. And the first 2, right understanding and right thought, comprise the wisdom or right understanding. And last week we saw that the right understanding has 3 levels. The first is the intellectual level that when you first start hearing about Buddhism, whether you read some books or you listen to some talks, Dhamma talks on YouTube or other places, you get some initial intellectual understanding, which triggers off your interest in to learn more, because it's quite different than some other standard religious teachings. It's a teaching mostly about the mind and how to live in the world in harmony with the laws of nature that govern our mind, how our mind operates. And most people don't even know what their mind is. They call it the mind, they have a mind, but they haven't really are able to look at it deeply, because that requires meditation. So anyway, in the right understanding is about suffering, the cause of suffering, how to overcome suffering, and then the way to live and think and meditate that will bring suffering to an end. So the first level of understanding is an intellectual understanding that gets you started to practice. And so as you start to practice and reflect on the teachings and begin to meditate, then your understanding gets a little bit deeper than just intellectual. You actually start to see some things in your mind, and you start to understand the law of cause and effect, the law of karma, and the importance of learning how to follow or observe the sila, the precepts, because we understand that everything we do has a reaction to us. And our negative actions bring painful consequences. Our actions based on greed, hatred, and delusion are what causes us to get caught up in unskillful thought, speech, and actions that get us entangled with, the outer world and even within our own mind. So the second level of wisdom is that reflective wisdom that comes through initial meditation and also contemplating in your daily life, seeing, being aware of the results of one's interactions in the world, one's speech and actions, and even your thoughts. And there's an important little kind of a stanza about the mind and karma that goes with our thoughts, how important our thoughts are. That if we sow a thought, that means we practice a certain types of thoughts, eventually it will lead to some actions. So sow a thought, reap an action. And then sow an action, that means you keep on repeating the actions, and you then form a habit. So sow an action, reap a habit. And if you keep on repeating those habits over and over again, then you reap a character. Like say, if you have a habit of telling lies, people are going to know you as a liar. If you have a habit of stealing things, people will call you a thief. And if you have just various types of habits. Or if you're deluded, you believe in all kind of weird conspiracy theories and things like that, then people will call you deluded. Or if you're wise and kind and so on, people will call you by that. So, and then if you sow a character, you reap a destiny. And a destiny could either be in this life, like if a thief or a criminal repeats its habits, it might get caught and put in jail or worse, or people will come to beat you or harm you due to one's unskillful actions. Or even your good actions, you reap a good result, good fortune, and happiness may come to you. Anyway, so that's why it's important to understand that everything comes from our mind, and we're the architect of our own life. That's the kind of the foundation of the Dhamma, and especially of the Noble Eightfold Path, that we have to have that right understanding. So the third level of right understanding is once you start gaining deeper insights and you reach the levels of actually the four stages of awakening, or entering the stream in the higher stages that lead to eventually complete liberation, or to use the popular term, enlightenment or awakening. But basically it means those stages of overcoming the negative tendencies of the mind and experiencing the liberation of our consciousness, basically. Ultimately, it means being liberated from the dominance of ego consciousness and all the types of suffering that we incur because of that. So anyway, those three levels of right understanding, of course, that they follow upon, each other. And then the right thought. So I'm just reviewing a little bit what we covered last week in case there are some people who are joining for the first time. So right thought means you have to think about the right understanding. You have to think about the Dhamma in your daily life and to create the intentions in the mind. So the right thought is the thought of non-greed, or thinking about how greed, unabated greed and desires are like a disease, and it keeps us wanting to accumulate more and more and more, especially like sensual pleasures and pursuing just enjoyment and things like that in the material world, and accumulating lots of things that we then have to protect and worry about. So simplifying one's life and learning how to have less greed and desire for the external world, and learning how to contact that deeper inner tranquility of the mind. So, and then the thought of non-ill will and non-cruelty. This means cultivating the thoughts of metta and karuna, or loving kindness and compassion, are the antidotes for mental ill will. That means having anger and ill will and resentment and hatred towards other persons, and then the cruelty that might come out of that, practicing cruelty by your physical actions or speech or even your thoughts, because these are what sink our mind deeper into negative states. So those three things, those are three types of right thoughts. Now, once you have right understanding and right thought, now what are you going to do? You have to do something, right? So that means you have to clean up your karma. And that's where the next three steps of the Eightfold Path, right speech, right action, and right livelihood, are actually the way that you live your life. So the right view and the right thought is the way you orient your life, but then and then you have to change the way that you behave in order to conform to what you understand about suffering and the way that you think. So the right speech, we create a lot of negative karma, but through our speech. And we get into a lot of trouble through our, negative speech. So the right speech are to refrain from telling lies, to refrain from malicious speech and harsh speech. Malicious speech means like slandering other people, talking about people behind their back, spreading rumors about others. Usually it's because we want to get something out of it. We want to ruin the reputation of others, or we're trying to defame others so that we can get some benefit. We see this especially in politics, right? With politicians talking about other people, what they've done, even though that person smoked pot when they're 30 years ago, they're a bad person, and wanting us to change our minds about others in order to get benefit. We can see this; it's a common characteristic. So slandering, telling tales about others, And then harsh speech, the four-letter words and other types of harsh speech that have anger behind them. And then also useless speech or frivolous speech. That means speech that just increases our desires or our silliness and just kind of waste our time flattering other people or talking about just mundane things instead of talking about the Dhamma. So those four types of practicing those are the following the precepts. So the right speech is part of, usually as part of the precepts. And that can minimize, so to cultivate the opposites of those who speak the truth, to speak only about the good qualities of others, and to use gentle and kind types of speech, and to learn and speak more about the Dhamma. The more you can, talk about the Dhamma, the less chance for, those negative types of speech to arise. So it's something we have to practice, and that's why these are included in like the 5 precepts or the 8 lifetime precepts. These 4 types of speech are, mentioned as the right speech of the Eightfold Path. And so it's just, we have to train ourselves, because for most of us brought up in these countries, negative speech or telling lies, or especially talking about others and harsh speech, is very rampant in society. So we really have to train ourselves. That's why these are called training rules. And then the right action. So the right action are part of the precepts to avoid from killing or harming other living beings. And this is understanding that all beings have the desire to live free from pain and, want to live, even, animals and insects. So even the non-killing within the Buddhist tradition extends to even, consciously taking the life of animals. So there's certain things that the Buddhists normally wouldn't do in terms of following those precepts, such as, of course, hunting or, inadvertently killing things and so on. But there's a lot of controversy and debate about the deeper meaning of that, and whether one should be a vegetarian if one's to be a Buddhist. Well, that's a whole other kind of question in itself. But anyway, the right action is what we do with the body. So to avoid from killing, and also abstain from stealing or taking what is not given. And to avoid from taking intoxicating drinks and drugs. So the right action are those. And then the right livelihood. The right livelihood, it means earning a living by doing something that wouldn't directly or indirectly break those other precepts. So again, as I mentioned with some of those precepts, the right livelihood for a Buddhist would be to have a job that doesn't incite people or encourage people to break the precepts or have to do it yourself. So, of course, being in the military service, there's some Buddhists that do join the military service, but they might do it out of, financial need or other reasons. But anyway, but especially other jobs like cheating in business, like selling drugs or alcohol, dealing with weapons, and just basically like vices, but especially in having, cheating in business and so on, where you have to tell lies or, do all kinds of deception and so on. But in this world, it's getting more difficult to find a job to do that doesn't kind of go into the gray areas of, breaking precepts. Like even in the medical industry, there's a lot of deception in the medical industry about drugs and, making money off of drugs. So maybe, practices that, would kind of tend to do that. We know that we know a lot of that happens, and also in business, cheating in business. So even a secretary might be forced to, cook the books, so to speak, in order to please the boss, or to not tell the whole truth about products and manufacturing, like, saying that, oh, there's no harm to smoke cigarettes or, vaping, hiding the dangers of these things just to make money. You see, this would be like kind of like a wrong livelihood, because you have to go home yourself and sleep at night. So, you might worry about having, done some of those things. So basically, a young person, as they grow up and studying the Dhamma, they should try to, choose a profession that wouldn't, hopefully not to cause them to have a livelihood that would, tend to, break the precepts, for example. Because it's all about overcoming guilt, worry, remorse, and fear. The whole practice of Dhamma is about the mental suffering that we create. And so much mental suffering is due to guilt, worry, remorse, and fear from having done things we shouldn't have done, even when we were younger, and not having done things that we should have done. And so the whole practice of Dhamma is about training our mind to overcome, greed, hatred, and delusion, and so that we wouldn't develop those kind of thoughts and habits that are going to cause us to do things we, to live out of harmony with the laws of nature, especially the law of karma. So that's why that training, the right speech, right action, and right livelihood, that's your day-to-day life. This is what you're doing in the day-to-day life. And that's why it requires, the right understanding and the right thought to help guide you in living more in harmony with the law of karma. Now, the last three sections of the Eightfold Path are the right effort, the right mindfulness, and the right concentration. So the right effort means the effort to do all of the above. The effort to develop right understanding, and all three levels of the right understanding, and the right effort to develop right thought and thinking about the Dhamma. So that's the effort to do all of the above, but especially the effort to prevent unwholesome states of mind entering your mind. And that requires mindfulness. That's where the practice of mindfulness and concentration plays its important part. And we'll be talking about that. But basically the right effort is four kinds. The effort to prevent negative states of mind from coming into your mind. But when they do come into the mind, the effort to abandon them, the effort to kind of push them out of your mind, the effort to create the opposite kind of thought that drives those negative thoughts out of your mind. Let's say like the intention to, you have a desire, intention to tell a lie, then you try to abandon that and to substitute it by telling the truth instead of telling the lie. Or, using some other types of unwholesome speech. When you catch yourself about ready to use some bad language or slander somebody, to the effort to see that that's a negative thought and the effort to let go of it. But in order to let go of it, we have to substitute it with something else. And that's why the third step of the right effort is the effort to cultivate wholesome thoughts that we might not yet have, and the effort to perfect them. So that's where to abandon the unwholesome thoughts, we replace them with the opposite type of thought. So instead of the thought to kill some animal, like to squash a cockroach or step on ants or even killing insects or other animals, think about being more kind to them. And, instead of killing them, maybe try to catch them and put them outside. Or doing things that hopefully would stop them from coming in your house, like dealing with mice and other types of things. But even apart from that, in day-to-day language, when you catch yourself the urge to use some bad speech or tell a lie or talk about somebody else, instead of talking about their bad qualities, talk about their good qualities. And instead of talking about useless things, talk more about the Dhamma. So it's the effort, it requires a lot of effort to do that. And that's why mindfulness is one of the most important things, and that's this next step. So the right effort was the sixth step of the Eightfold Path. The seventh step is the right mindfulness. So we all know what mindfulness is. That's what we've been practicing, the main form of meditation we've been encouraging people to practice, as part of this Wednesday night program. And most of you already are practicing mindfulness and concentration that we'll talk about. So right mindfulness is basically following the four foundations of mindfulness, this very sutta that we've been reviewing and studying for the last couple of months. So the four foundations of mindfulness are what are defined as right mindfulness. Being mindful of the body, mindful of the feelings, mindful of the mental states, and mindfulness of the Dhamma. But basically, mindfulness means being alert and paying attention, being aware of what thoughts are coming into your mind. And only we have to be aware of the thought before we can actually apply the right effort. Although you can apply the right effort by following precepts, and that will help you to some extent to be more mindful in your daily life. But, people slip up because, our mindfulness might not be that strong, or our habits, or we easily, slip up and make mistakes. And that's because of, our mindfulness may be not strong enough. So in order to perfect the right effort and to perfect, right thought and right action, that's why mindfulness is so important. Because when you're mindful of, you have to be mindful of wrong thought and then apply right thought. You have to be mindful of having a wrong view and then cultivate the right view. You have to be mindful of the urge to use bad speech and then the mindfulness to substitute it with right speech or right action. And so that's why the daily practice of mindfulness is so important. Of course, it leads to, and the whole purpose of practicing mindfulness and practicing the Eightfold Path is so that we can gain concentration and tranquility. And this is where the eighth step of the Eightfold Path, right concentration, leads to that culmination of being able to, develop all the other aspects, and where those other aspects of the Eightfold Path gain their perfection. So the right concentration is actually developed through practicing mindfulness. As you practice mindfulness, you develop concentration. Because mindfulness in meditation means being aware of the five hindrances and being able to then overcome the five hindrances by applying the right efforts. And by doing that, you gain the concentration. And the concentration is defined, right concentration is defined as reaching the levels of the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, and fourth jhana. These are levels of deeper concentration. And as you develop the ability to stay concentrated, it deepens your mindfulness and deepens your ability to follow the precepts. They go around to help strengthen each other. So those right, that last step, the reason why it's considered to be the last step is not that you wait and do that, but you need to develop concentration even at the beginning, but, to a little bit. And then in the middle, it gets stronger. And at the end, finally, it attains its, strength to reach those higher levels of, liberating the mind or purifying the mind of greed, hatred, and delusion. Now, the Eightfold Path, as I mentioned, is divided into the three umbrella groups of Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. So Panya is right view and right understanding and right thought. The right speech, right action, right livelihood falls under the umbrella group of skillful conduct, the way that you lead your life, so that you minimize the negative karma and the problems that come to us through our unskillful thought, speech, and actions. And the right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration is under the umbrella group of concentration. So Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, these groups called the morality, concentration, and wisdom. These are those three groups of the Noble Eightfold Path. Now, there's a lot of, it can be said about this, but I'm going to just stop at this point and see if any of you have any questions on any of these steps of the Noble Eightfold Path that we've been discussing. So let's see if there's anything in the chat group. I hope, Dragon Yogi, did you finally get your sound taken care of? Okay, I see Damon has a yellow hand up. Damon, you have a question?
Yeah, Bhante, there's 8 parts of the path. 3 for Sila, 3 for 3 for wisdom. No, 3 for. It just seems like Panya is only made up of 2, and you're naming 3.
No, Panya is made up of right understanding and right thought. Sila is made up of 3, and concentration is made up of 3.
Okay, so right view is the same as right understanding.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 2 aspects to Panya, 3 to Sila, and 3 to Samadhi.
Yes.
Makes up 8. Okay.
That's right. Yes.
Thank you.
Kimberly, you have a question?
Yes. So basically, it's not a step-by-step process.
The Eightfold
Like,
Path?
right. So you're not starting with one and then moving on to the next. It seems as if it's almost circular.
Yeah, it is. But in the beginning, if you've never heard of the Dhamma, then your right understanding is going to be the first one. Because if you don't have any understanding, you're not going to know how to practice. So at least that first level of some intellectual understanding, as most people start with that, and then that pricks their interest to want to start practicing, like practicing Sila, the precepts, or practicing meditation. So, but you have to have some understanding to practice meditation. If you just sit down and without any kind of direction on what you're going to meditate on, the mind will just, be full of hindrances. So, but yes, ordinarily you would, all of those strengthen each other. The right understanding gets you started to practice the Sila. And as you practice Sila, you see the need to, how it prevents you from developing concentration. So as you develop concentration, that deepens your wisdom. As your wisdom deepens, you can see how you can practice Sila better. As you practice Sila better, your concentration improves. As your concentration gets deeper, your wisdom gets deeper, your practice of Sila gets better, and then that's the way that they keep on circling around. You have another question, Damon?
Yeah, with respect to right view, you said that that means, first of all, to have a good grasp of the Four Noble Truths, also the 3 characteristics of existence, and then finally, what the part, okay, why is, having understood those 2 things, why is it so much more important that we then understand karma?
Because we have to understand what we're doing that brings us problems. We want to, all of our problems in life boil down to not following the precepts, basically.
Right.
And so that's why the right understanding helps us to, understand that by gaining an intellectual understanding, and then by observing in our daily life how the effects of our actions, how if you told a lie and you get caught and you were worrying about that, or you're worrying about somebody's going to find out you told a lie or cheated on something or told your friend's secrets to somebody else, and the mind gets filled with worry, and then you can't meditate. So
Okay. Yeah. All right.
it's understanding the effects of our actions.
Actually, how could I apply that very practically to the following simple hypothetical? I have an itch. Okay, let's say I have an itch on my arm, and for years I just can, I obsessively scratching something. I really don't want to. How does right view in general help me to stop obsessively doing something repetitive like that, like scratching an itch?
Well, because scratching an itch keeps your mind disturbed, and that means you have a weak tolerance for unpleasant sensations.
Right.
And so you get easily disturbed by some unpleasant sensation. Now, an itch is okay, it's an unpleasant sensation, but most of them are not going to kill us unless it's something, sure,
Right.
if we have something like a rash, poison ivy, or, something like that, we use medication perhaps, but just the normal itches that come onto your body, while you're meditating or other times, just a little irritation, you go like this, those are not going to hurt you. And so the ability to endure them and not
Huh?
to waste your time trying to shoo away every little annoyance, learning how to endure unpleasant things creates a stronger mental power in us.
Right. So I mean, to me, that's a very good common sense way that you have taught me. I've been able to do it. So why do I even have to bother with all this other theory about right view, inicha, nata, just to solve this itch problem? It sounds much more simple than that.
Yeah, there's more to life than just dealing with your itches.
Yep, that's true. Okay,
If that's
thanks.
all we had to worry about, it wouldn't be, our life wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, it's true. Thank you.
Okay, friends, any other questions that come up? So next week we will discuss the Buddha's guarantee about practicing the Dhamma, about practicing the four foundations of mindfulness. The Buddha gives a guarantee, or you could say a warranty, a guarantee. Anyway, we'll discuss that next week. All right. So try to read that last section if you haven't already. Try to reread that. The whole sutra if you can. Okay, friends. So we'll go
Bhante,
ahead and take a few
sorry.
minutes. Was there
Yeah,
one more question? Okay, Amanda, speak to your question, please.
okay, I am. I need to go over my notes. I can ask next week. Thank you.
Okay. Maybe the answer will
Might
come
come to me too.
Okay. Okay, friends, then let's take a couple minutes break, get ready to do some stretches, and then have our meditation. Okay? See you back in a few minutes. Your friends up, try to stand straight. Relax your arms at the sides. Gently close your eyes. Feel your feet pressing the floor. Feel your arms and hands hanging at the side. Feel your head balanced on top. Feel your eyes in the sockets. Try to feel the outline of the standing body in the mind's eye. And begin some deep, slow breathing. Taking 2 or 3 seconds to expand your abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. Holding the air in the lungs for 2 or 3 seconds. So all the oxygen can get out into the bloodstream. Slowly breathe out. Feel the last bit of air go out of the lungs. Just developing this mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to combine this breathing with these movements. Repeating each exercise 3 times. So on the next in-breath, raise the arms over the head, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up, straighten your arms, stretch your head back, stretch upwards. And release your fingers, the out-breath, arms back to your sides. And again, in-breath, hands over the head, interlock fingers, stretch up, bend back a little bit, feel the arch in the spine, feel the sensation. Out breath, arms back to the sides. And once more, in, stretch up, bend back a little more. Out breath. Feel sensations. Just relax. Keep feeling the body. Feel the increased body sensation. Feel clothing touching the outer skin. Increased life force sensations under the skin, especially in your hands or fingers. Just letting go of your thoughts. And the next in-breath, lift up on the balls of the feet while raising the hands over the head in this way, facing the hands toward each other, stretch up on the toes. Out breath, come back down. Use the in-breath to help lift up the body. Stretch. Out. Once more, in. Stretch. Out. Close the eyes, keep feeling the body. Feel the head on top, arms at the sides, clothing touching the skin, feet pressing the floor. All those places make up the standing body. Just letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. The standing body in the front of the awareness. Remember standing, standing. Next we'll do side bending using both arms. On the in-breath, raise both arms up. And keep your fingers and arms straight, close to your head. On the out-breath, bend over the right side. Your arms parallel to each other like railroad tracks. In-breath, lift up. Pause a moment. And the next out-breath to the left side. In-breath, lift up. Again to the right, out-breath. In, out. Once more to each side. On the out breath, lower both arms. Let's close the eyes, keep feeling the body. Head on top, arms at the sides, clothing touching the skin, feet pressing the floor. Remember standing, standing. Mindfulness of the body. And next we'll do this squatting or knee bending. On the in-breath, lift up on the toes while raising the arms up front for balance. The out-breath, bend the knees and lower down, balancing on the balls of the feet. Take a deep breath to help push up. Feel the muscles in the legs, pushing the body up on the balls of the feet. In out breath, lower down. In, out. In, the out breath, relax. Feel the increased heartbeat. Keep feeling the body, don't let the mind wander in thoughts. Now, spread your legs 3 feet, wider the better. Pull the arms out to the sides. Do the twisting from right to left, breathe in. Out breath, twist to the right. Keep your eyes focused on the hand, moving back. In breath, back to the front. Let your feet turn with the body, then twist to the left side, the out breath. In breath. Keep alternating sides with the breathing. Once more to each side. Lower the arms, relax, close the eyes. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Now hold the hands together at the chest. The in-breath, hands over the head. The out-breath, hands to the chest, bend the knees, lower down. Do a stretch in the hips and knees. The in-breath, lift back up, hands over the head. The out-breath, in, out. In, the out-breath, hands back to the sides. Close the eyes. Feel the body exactly as it is. Each foot pressing the floor, hands at the sides, clothing touching the skin. Head balanced on top, eyes in the sockets. Feel that increased aliveness of the whole body. Present moment, body-centered awareness. Now bring the feet back together. Stand straight. Or do the head turning from right to left. The in-breath, turn the head to the right, concentrate into the neck vertebrae, and look over your right shoulder. Get a stiff neck, just be careful. On the out-breath, turn the head all the way back to the left, look over the left shoulder. In-breath back to the right. Concentrate into the neck vertebrae. Out breath left. Feel the neck vertebrae loosening up. Once more to each side. The in-breath, let the head stop in the middle. Keep feeling the body. Now we're going to finish by doing the sunburst backward and forward, bending. We'll turn the palms facing outwards so your little fingers touch together. On the back bend, just be careful, don't bend back too far the first time. On the in-breath, raise the hands up level with your eyes. Begin spreading the arms apart as you bend back, not too far. Look at the ceiling. On an in-breath, carefully lift up, keeping your arms out at the sides. On the out-breath, lower the arms and hands down towards your feet to the floor. Try to keep your legs straight. Let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out. And begin lifting up. Turn the palms outward again. In breath, raise the hands up to the eyes. Spread them apart on the out breath. Bend back. Be careful. In breath, lift up. In out breath, lower the hands down to the floor. And stretch a little bit further down. And once more. In breath, raise the hands, out breath. Then back. In breath, lift up. And the third time, try to hold a downward stretch longer. Feel all the sensations, legs and spine. Begin lifting up. On an in-breath, bring the hands together at the chest. Out-breath, hands to the sides. Keep the eyes closed, feel the whole body. Try to feel that organic aliveness of the whole body. In the awakened cellular vibrations. Due to the deep breathing and the stretching, the oxygenated blood going out to feed all the cells of the body. That's what you're feeling. Start to feel like you're standing on a vibrating machine, feeling all those vibrations from the soles of the feet up to the top of the head. A few pulsations, prickly sensations, maybe some minor aches or pains. Present moment, body-centered awareness. starting point for any deeper meditation, concentrated in the body. Concentration is keeping the mind focused in the body. The mindfulness is feeling the different sensations coming and going. Noticing the thoughts coming and going in your mind. Okay, let's come back to our seats, ready for the sitting. Okay, friends, get comfortable in your sitting posture. So gently close your eyes. Sort of feel that outline of the sitting body, the head balanced on top, straight spine. Try to establish a natural inward curve of the lower lumbar spine. Helps to keep the body sitting straight. Feel your hands touching together. Feel the buttocks pressing the seat. Feel your feet tucked underneath or pressing the floor. Try to keep your chin lifted up level with the floor. And try to feel that outline of the sitting body in the mind's eye. And begin some deep, slow breathing again, like we did in the yoga. Take 2 or 3 seconds to expand your abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest, holding the air in for 2 seconds. And slowly breathing out, feel the last bit of air go out of the lungs. Just take several more deep, slow breaths like that, developing this mindfulness. Of breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath a second. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to count our breaths from 1 to 10 to develop a more continuous concentration on the breathing. I'll do the counting for you. Just try to follow that with your breathing and concentration. So with the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. Hold the breath a second. With the contracting out breath, also count to 1. Feel the last bit of air go out. Next in breath, 2. Out breath, 2. In 3. Out 3. In 4. Out 4. In 5. Out 5. In 6. Out 6. In 7. Out 7. In 8. Out 8. In 9. Out 9. In 10. Out 10. Now try to count your breaths from 1 to 10 again by yourself without my prompting. See if you can make it to 10 without getting lost in thoughts or going to sleep. If you're able to make it to 10 without getting lost in thoughts, and just continue the counting. Let your breathing return to its uncontrolled, shorter, irregular rhythm. But continue to observe it, to feel it. Keep your attention focused in the center of the body, to feel the residual expanding and contracting sensation. Start to focus on feeling the sensations of the clothing rubbing against the skin of your stomach, rib cage, your chest. It expands and contracts. Or if you can feel the air moving through the nostrils, you can focus on that. Just remember, know when the breath is coming in, and knowing when the breath is going out. You know it by feeling it. Feeling those subtle sensations, either the air in the nostrils or the expanding and contracting of the abdomen, rib cage, or chest. Be like a scientist looking down through a microscope. Just bringing those sensations into focus. If it helps you to stay focused, you can use the mental notes of just in, sitting, out, sitting. Just tuning into the 4 phases of each breath cycle. The incoming, expanding in breath, and the brief pause. The outgoing, contracting out breath, and the brief pause. Just letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Just keep the sensations of the breathing process in the front of the awareness. Just turn up the power of the mental microscope, bring the breathing process into clear focus. Noticing subtler sensations. At the same time, be alert for thoughts sneaking up into the mind to steal your attention away. Mindfulness is the ability to notice our thoughts trying to steal our mind away. Concentration is to stay focused. Mindfulness, be aware of the hindrance, distraction. If you catch yourself lost in thoughts, recognize it as lost. Take a deep, slow breath. Bring the mind back into the body. Back to in, sitting. Out, sitting. Just continue to do some deep, slow breathing until you get recentered, awake in the body. In the pauses between the breaths, feel the outline of the body. Try to feel the breathing occurring within the larger body. As the mind gets more concentrated, be aware of other sensations coming and going, in and through the breathing body awareness. Be alert for any itchy or painful feeling, and the mind's reaction to them. Just keep turning up the power of the mental microscope to notice more and subtler details, sensation in the breathing body, noticing subtler thoughts, urges moving through the back of the mind. From time to time, come back and take a few deep, slow breaths. Help stay awake, centered in the body, the breathing body. Feeling more and more sensations arising and vanishing through the body, thoughts moving through the mind. If you can cultivate understanding, notice the five aggregates. What is material form? What is feeling, perception, volition, ego consciousness? You can contemplate the Four Noble Truths. What is suffering? What is the cause of suffering? What is the cessation of suffering? The path leading to the cessation of suffering. Now, friend, let's spend the last few minutes of this meditation by cultivating thoughts of friendliness, kindness, best wishes towards our own body and mind, and then radiating out those thoughts of metta outwards to all living beings. So again, just come back and start to begin some deep, slow breathing, just watching your body and mind, sitting there. As you take a deep breath, hold the air in your lungs as long as you comfortably can, try to feel or imagine that oxygenated blood going out to all the cells of the body, mind, nervous system, with healing energy. Just imagine on the out breath, the body and mind just relaxing into the present moment. Just imagine that deep, slow breathing in yourself is sending metta, kindness to your own body and mind, while cultivating this train of thought. May I be well, peaceful and wise. May I be free from excessive attachment and greed, anger or hatred, jealousy, envy, fear, pride and ignorance. May I be free from the pains and sufferings of body and mind brought about by such unskillful thought, speech, and actions. May I have the patience, strength, mindfulness, and wisdom to meet and overcome all difficulties in life. May I be able to continue to deepen my understanding of the Dhamma and to learn and practice meditation to help free the mind from self-created pains and sufferings. May I be well, peaceful, and wise. And try to continue the deep, slow breathing, and with each out breath, imagine these same metta thoughts of friendliness, kindness going outward across the fields and the valleys, through the towns and cities, over the mountains. With each out breath, imagine these metta vibrations of friendliness, kindness, best wishes going through the bodies and minds of all the beings, soothing the fires of their greed, hatred, and delusion, soothing the pains of their body and mind, and awakening the seed of love and wisdom in their heart. Just with the idea, may all living beings, wherever they might be, whether living near or far away, visible or invisible, the weak or the strong, the rich or the poor, famous or the obscure, may all living beings be well, happy and peaceful, free from greed, hatred, fear, and ignorance. May they be free from the self-created pains and sufferings of body and mind due to their unmindful thought, speech, and actions. May all beings have the patience, strength, mindfulness, and wisdom to meet and overcome all difficulties in life. May all beings be able to live peacefully and harmoniously together. understanding the ultimate interconnectedness and the interdependence of all things. May all beings be well, peaceful, and wise. May all beings be well, peaceful, and wise. It's like a mantra reverberating throughout space. Well, peaceful, and wise. Now I invite you to join in chanting the word sadhu 3 times slowly. We do that chanting on a long out breath. Feel those vibrations in the body and mind. So if you want to put your hands together at the chest, just take a deep breath. Sadhu. Breathe. Sadhu. Breathe. Sadhu. Now, friends, put your hands at the edge of your knees. Take one more deep breath. As you breathe in, stretch your head back. Pull the hands on your knees to arch the spine. Look up at the ceiling. And lift the head up on an in-breath, and on the out-breath, press the chin to the top of the chest to stretch the neck vertebrae. And lift the chin up level on an in-breath. Relax on the out-breath, put a smile on your face. Okay, friends, so this brings our Dhamma discussion and meditation to an end. But as I always say, mindfulness should never end. And try to keep up your meditation practice during the week. Do your M&Ms, the minutes of mindfulness during the day. Be well, be mindful, be safe, be wise. Till we might meet again next week. Namo Buddhaya. Good night, everybody.
Namo Buddhaya. Thank you, Bhante.
You're welcome.
Buddhaya. Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.